Posey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Harbert, in your testimony, you said that the numbers of the U.S. pledge to the United Nations do not add up. I wonder if you would expound on that a little bit for me.
Certainly. If you take all of the stated regulations that they have put into their INDC and add up the EPA's estimated carbon reductions, they still come up 40% short. So it is evident that there is more action that's going to be needed to meet that 26 to 28% cut. On top of that, in that submission to the United Nations, they say that we're going to meet an additional target of an 80% reduction by 2050 with absolutely no plan, no proposal, no narrative, no evidence of how we're going to get there. So the math does not add up.
Okay. I remember when Australia passed the Australian version of cap and trade, national energy tax, whatever, and I met with two members of Parliament yesterday. One of them, I guess, was the essential of our Senate, and the other one represented essentially our House. And they told me that Australia rescinded their national energy tax cap and trade plan, said it was the biggest mistake, both of them, and they were Liberal Party, by the way, both of them said it was, in their opinion, the biggest mistake their government ever made.
And largely and hugely unpopular with the Australian people, which is why the subsequent government, in listening during their election campaign, then rescinded that pledge. And by the way, Australia has yet to make a pledge to the United Nations for this round.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask why you thought they rescinded it, because we didn't get that far in a conversation, and now you've told me. I guess the cost of it was unbearable on those citizens, and they were losing business left and right, is what they told me. They didn't tell me about the grassroots uprising.
And they have a very dependent economy on coal and coal production, and that was certainly under threat. They're a mining, economy. But we also just don't have to look to Australia. I think somebody mentioned in testimony earlier, we just need to look across the pond to Europe about what we don't want to do. And you look at what has happened under the cap and trade trading system in Europe, and electricity prices have gone up, emissions have not gone down, they have not met their Kyoto requirements. And here in the United States, without all of these government mandates and based on the private sector initiative and innovation, we have, in essence, met what would have been our Kyoto targets. So we can prove that energy and the environment can coexist, and those that would like to have the argument that it's energy or the environment need to understand that that's not the path that the economies of the world and the developing economies are going to pursue.
I know during the National Prayer Breakfast, I guess, was, and I don't remember the title from Spain, but pretty much lectured us on the responsibility of adopting a cap and trade policy. Are you familiar with where they are with their policy in Spain?
I know that Spain has heavily relied on subsidizing renewable energy and subsequently hemorrhaged a tremendous amount of jobs, about a 2-for-1 job loss in the renewable industry, and so they have largely abandoned that proposal. I would call your attention to an article in today's New York Times about this exact issue, and the New York Times itself says that no poor nation can take care of its environment, and so we should be very careful in how we approach this, that if you don't offer people an opportunity, we're never going to get to a point to resolve this on a global basis.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Posey.